Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer, coming to you straight from Kuala Lumpur. Welcome back humans. Man, another beautiful day here in Malaysia. Now, one of the reasons I'm wearing tank tops, guys, because over here it's constantly 86 to 90, but it's a humid 86 to 90. So, I mean, like every other day we have thunderstorms, and not every day we're getting thunderstorms. Plus, you know, usually right after I shoot, or when I'm shooting, is when I'm doing the exercise videos. And, you know, if you're trying to get in shape and need a little motivation, I suggest you go over there. So, let's get to the subject at hand. I went to the Zendersons store, right? And it's the only place that I found here in Malaysia that sells retro games. You know, just to put it in perspective, guys, at least from what I see, and I could be wrong, but at least from what I see, the retro scene here is barely starting, right? It's barely beginning. This is a big city, man, with all the modern conveniences and everything else you can find, and you can find a lot of new games. And in the video compilation that I put there are, you know, I took pictures of a couple of stores, a couple of game stores in town where you can get, you know, PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and they do have some 360s, one or two titles, not many. PS3s also. PS3s more than the Xbox 360, I'm sorry. But that's about it. You know, that's about it as far as old games. For retro games, you actually have to buy them off of people. Even, you know, you go on Craigslist and it's not there every day. Sometimes there's nothing. You know, all there is PS3 and PS4 stuff. But I found these guys last time I was here. I wasn't able to get to them in time because I had to leave. I came back, you know, and it's still just the one and only store, right? It's been a year since I was in Kuala Lumpur last, and there's still just the one guys, the couple of guys that own the store that put out a table on the weekends at the Ampro Mall. And you know, this is my journey there. But first, let me show you what I picked up. Okay, so first I picked up the Kung Fu game, the Browning story that I put up, right? But after that, and this is what I was debating, guys, because I didn't know if I had AV connections out here, right? Like all their games, God, my hair is all there's, you know, they had a few different consoles there. They had a Famicom that had like 300 games in one. It's a clone, but it also plays the cartridges, right? And he had a couple of Saturns, a PS1, a PS2 out there. All these systems are for sale, but unfortunately they're all AV. You know, I think there's one that he had a component adapter, but the TV where I'm at, I didn't know if it had AV at the time, right? Now I know it does, so I'm really thinking what I should get, right? Because I still have 2 months out here, right? And I want to play some games that I can put up. Now, the first game that I got is one that I was never able to get for the Saturn. I bought the Saturn, and, you know, after it was all discontinued, right? I always wanted that system. Could never afford it. I bought it after it was, you know, done with. And one of the games I really wanted was Street Fighter Alpha Zero, or, you know, it's Zero they call it here. And this is the Japanese version for the Saturn. And that's what they have out there, is the Japanese versions of these games, guys. Complete with manual and everything. Gave me a great deal on it. And I'm telling you, a great deal. It's a pretty good deal. And man, I can't wait to play this. I mean, I wanted to have a physical copy just because I never did own one, you know. And you know, I have a Saturn at home and stuff, but I wasn't able to get it, man. It always bummed me out, you know. Like, I always wanted to play this game, and I never did. So another one off the bucket list. Okay. Something else that I bought. So here's a little story for you. When I had my Super Nintendo, I really couldn't afford new games for it at the time. You know, I had children, and the only way I was able to buy games was from alternate sources, let's say. I lived in a notoriously, part of town for being full of thieves, right? And these guys, what they would do is they would sell their wares, man. I mean, they would go, some of these guys were entrepreneurs, you had to give it to them. They would go out there and hustle, get their merchandise, and then they would go door to door, man. These guys would actually go door to door trying to sell their wares. And one of the games that I was able to get was NBA Jam, and and I got it that way. And but I didn't have a box or anything. It couldn't have. So I was always bummed out that I never had the box for NBA Jam. And this one's a little beat up, but I got a great deal on it. And I can finally say that I have NBA Jam, right, for the Super Nintendo. And of course I have the system to play it in. But more than anything, I really wanted this box. Why? Because I never had one, right? Just one of those things. Personal goal. And last but not least, another game that I know never owned the box to, and unfortunately I traded it in like right away because my son wanted another game, and I didn't get much for it, and I was always misty-eyed that I had to trade it in, but it didn't have a box back then either. So that's the other thing, right? So a lot of those that I bought that particular way ended up traded in. But here you go, Fatal Fury for the Genesis, and they had a lot of Mega Drive games out there, but he also had a couple of mixed in Genesis, which is a weird part over here. You'll have mixed games because you get a lot of games from Japan, but there's also US games, like North America releases. So I don't know how that works, but it was super awesome to get the game. It doesn't have a manual. It's stuck in there. And all I had was that back in the day. But, to have another Genesis box, it's pretty cool. I have to say it is, man. I really enjoy having these old school games. So what I'm thinking of doing, guys, is maybe getting a Saturn. I don't know what the best value I'm gonna find out there is, so I can put videos up, but man, I'm so tempted to get the Saturn and play, my Street Fighter there, but I gotta see what other games he has that, are a reasonable price that I can procure, and put these videos out there for you. So anyway, guys, in summation, there isn't a lot here as far as the retro scene, but what there is, it reminds me of the old school retro. When this guy shows up at the market, at the mall, and sets up his little tables out there. There's guys that come over, and they're coming over for the Game Boys, right? Game Boys are really popular. Who knew over here? And they're ready, and it reminds me of sort of like the old days when you're at the swap meet. You were waiting for that guy to open because he's the one that could get the cool games, and sort of that feel that I get here. I don't know what else I'm gonna find, but it was really nice to look at some older games and games that I've never seen, right? Because there's a lot of Famicom out there, which I didn't know, what should I get? They have that Famicom foam out there, and it has all the games, and I was thinking about it, man. I have to say, I was really thinking about it because, it's just a huge value. Plus, I could get games right there that I could play. So I don't know, guys, but I'm still leaning towards the Saturn. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna end it with a compilation video and shots of what I saw out there. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Remember, don't be afraid to be happy. And I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.